What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski and I am back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today, I'm going to be bringing you guys the guide video on how to beat the brand new fortnight that was just announced on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global, being Nami and Lola's Operation Proposal. So, this fortnight's a little bit interesting. It does change the skill books up from the Japanese version, and we will go through all the skill books that you can access in this fortnight, in this guide video that you'll see today. So I hope you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, and if you guys do go on to enjoy it, make sure to smack the like button down below, as it's always greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the first unit we're going to have a look at is the Pure White Goddess Wedding Nami. So this is the actual boss of this fortnight dungeon, and it does evolve from a 3-star unit, and this 4-star version is a Psy Striker Cerebral character and does have a max level at level 99 with 772 health, 799 attack, and 409 recovery. So her stats are pretty bad, but she has a really nice recovery stat. She has 20 cost and 2 socket spots. Now her captain effect will boost the attack and recovery of cerebral characters by 1.5 times, and also recover 2 times this character's recovery and HP at the end of each turn. So captain effect doesn't really give you that much of a multiplier, only a 1.5 times boost, so it isn't really that strong, but it actually is really nice to get that little bit of HP recovery at the end of every turn. That's always a really nice captain effect, but you know, the multiplier is so low that it's just really not worth using. And a special, which starts at 23 turns and maxes at 14 turns, will deal 15 times her attack in side damage to a single enemy, and then boost attack against enemies with reduced defense by 1.3 times for 3 turns. This is actually a pretty nice special, can be used very well in some specific like ranking missions that require you to reach a certain amount of damage in a single turn. These types of units are really good for that, because you can reduce their defense, activate this, and then this can also be stacked with type and class boosting specials, and also orb boost as well. So this special is actually really good. It can be stacked with lots of different things. So overall, a pretty decent unit. I wouldn't say it's the best fortnight unit, but she's pretty decent. So the next unit we are going to have a look at is the Courting Lola Thriller Bark Bride, which is the miniature boss of this fortnight dungeon. Now Lola here is a 4-star unit and is a strength slasher powerhouse character, and at level 99 at max level she has just over 2,000 health, just over 1,000 attack, and 147 recovery. Overall, pretty standard stats, nothing to really gripe about, and she has 18 cost and 2 socket spots. Now a captain effect will boost the attack of powerhouse characters by 2 times and the recovery by 1.5 times, and then reduce the crew's current HP by 10% at the end of each turn. Not a very good captain effect. Not only are you getting bad multipliers, but you're also getting your health reduced at the end of every turn, so it isn't really a great captain ability. And her special, although, which starts at 25 turns and maxes at 13, will reduce the defense of all enemies by 80% and also amplify the effects of orbs by 1.5 times, all for a single turn. Very, very good special. Now, this actually can be used in tandem with the Wedding Nami, because you use Lola first to reduce the enemy's defense, and then Nami herself will also boost your attack against enemies with lower defense. And also with Lola herself, she actually gives you an orb boost. So all of these different multipliers will stack on top of each other, giving you a massive damage output for a single turn. So it's actually really, really nice. And overall, you know, Lola herself is actually pretty decent. She can be used in a lot of teams. You know, reducing defense is one of the best specials in the game, and for her to do that as well as give you an orb boost for that turn as well is insane. You're going to be getting massive amounts of damage output in a single turn, the turn you use Lola's special. Now let's go ahead and have a look at the hidden boss for this fortnight dungeon, which is the Risky Brothers, who are a 3-star unit and are Dex Slasher Free Spirit characters, and at level 50 at max level they have 707 health, 368 attack, and 287 recovery, so very, very low stats, 9 costs and 2 socket spots, and it does not have a captain effect, and the special that it has, which starts at 20 turns and maxes at 6 turns, will change its own orb to Dex and then switch orbs between slots a single time. So this isn't a very good hidden boss in my personal opinion. Is really not that good. There's nothing great about him. His special isn't really that great. Sure, he gives himself a Dex orb and you can switch slots once, but he himself is a bad unit. The stats are so bad that him, even with a matching orb, doesn't give you much damage output. So overall, probably one of the worst hidden bosses that we've seen for a very long time in Fortnite and stuff. Very, very bad hidden boss. So overall, you know, the units are pretty decent, especially Lola. Lola is one of the better units in all of Fortnite's, really. Really good special. But now let's move on now to the actual breakdown of this dungeon and how to beat Wedding Nami and Lola. So before we get into the actual breakdown, let's go and have a look at the condition for this fortnight, which states only slasher and cerebral characters are allowed to be brought. So a little bit different from the breed fortnight that we just had, where you could only bring fighter and powerhouse. Now this time you can only bring slasher and cerebral units. So later on in the video, I'll have some teams for you guys to bring in this fortnight dungeon. But for now, let's go ahead and break down the stages itself. So for the first 5 stages, you'll basically just come across different marines and pirates and then side boosters and evolvers. That's pretty much it, and they all have various cooldowns between 1 and 3. Yeah, so overall it's pretty simple. There's nothing else that really happens within these first 5 stages, so I didn't really want to waste you guys' time in giving you every single stage, because it's all pretty much very similar. But now let's move on to stage 6, where you encounter the mini-boss in Lola. So in stage 6, you will encounter the mini-boss in Lola, and Lola herself has 262,500 health and an attack power of 5,296, although she will attack you every 2 turns. Now she does have a preemptive attack that will just randomize your orbs, so nothing really to worry about in that sense, and when she falls below 20% HP, she will halve your HP and then seal int units on your team for 2 turns. So this is actually really bad, considering you're just about to hop into the final room against Nami, and you know you're gonna get this just dumped on you. So you gotta make sure that you don't get Lola under 20%, but she doesn't actually do anything else, you know, while you're battling her. Just make sure you take her out within those first 2 turns, and then you won't have to deal 5,300 damage. You won't have to deal with that at all. So pretty simple, you know, sort of stage, but you definitely need to worry about that under 20% condition. You know, if she falls under 20%, you're going to be getting a lot of status effects, and it's not going to be good heading into the final stage of the fight. So this last stage of this fortnight dungeon is a little bit different. There are actually 4 different final stages that you can come across. The first one here is just Nami by herself. So Wedding Nami has a health of 1 million, approximately 1 million HP, and an attack power of 3,640, and will attack you every single turn. And she does have a preemptive attack that will seal strength, quick, and dex units for 5 turns. So that is something that you definitely have to be careful for, and definitely means that, you know, bringing guys that can unlock your units, or just having sockets, is just makes this dungeon so much easier. So make sure, you know, you do have to be worrying about that strength, quick, and dex units will be locked for 5 turns. That's only if you encounter Nami by herself. If you encounter any other rune for the final room, she doesn't actually use this preemptive attack, so that's just something to worry about. However, something that she does on every single other variation of the final room is what you see below that, is where, depending on what her HP is, it will be how much damage she'll output to you in that turn. So if her HP is between 50 and 70%, she's going to deal 4,000 damage to you. If it's between 30 and 50, it's 6,000 damage. If it's between 20 and 30, it's 8,000 damage. And if it's under 20%, it's 10,000 damage. But if it's above 70%, then she'll just do her regular attack of 3,640. So that is something to worry about. She is, you know, very tanky with 1 million health, so if you have some sort of burst or some way to burst her down all the way, you know, in 1 turn, then that actually is a really good way to do it. But for the most part, you're probably going to take a couple of turns to take her down, just because of how much health she actually has. But the thing is, you can delay her, so if you do have a delayer on your team, you can just bring a delayer and then just take her out within that, you know, time frame, which is probably the best way to go about it, and it will make it the most safest way to do it. But you know, if you guys don't want to do that and just want to go with pure damage output, then, you know, bring a lot of burst units like orb boosters and type boosters and stuff like that. But overall, that is the first stage of stage 7, and now let's go over to the second variation. So here we are on the second variation of stage 7, so it is pretty much the same in a way, but except you have 2 more units to deal with. So you have Absalom and Sanji, who have the exact same amount of health and the exact same damage output, and will attack you every 2 turns. Now Nami herself is a little bit different though. She has 520,000 health this time, at approximately, and she has the same attack power and will attack you every single turn. And Nami will do that thing where, depending on how low her health is how much damage she'll output to you in that 1 turn as well. Now, Absalom and Sanji don't do anything. They do not do any other special effects. All they'll do is just attack you every 2 turns. So this room is pretty simple. You know, turn delayers again can be brought for this room as well. It makes this room a whole lot easier because, you know, if you really think about it, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, especially in that second turn. If you cannot take down Absalom and Sanji, you're going to be taking like 12, you know, up to 15,000 damage in that 1 turn, so definitely have to worry about that. Although the good thing about Absalom and Sanji is that they don't have that much health. It's only 150,000, so they can be taken down very quickly. And then once those guys are taken down, you can focus all your attacks on Nami. Moving on to the third variation of this Fortnite dungeon for the last stage, we have Nami and Absalom by themselves here. Now, Nami has approximately 500,000 health and an attack power, which is the same as the other rooms. And we have Absalom, which I tried researching his health, but apparently no one has any health value that they've researched for him yet, so I can't really state how much it has, but I would guess it's between 150 to 250,000. In that range, I think would be fair, and his attack power is the same as the other room with 6,222, and he will attack you every 2 turns. Now, there's a preemptive attack that Absalom does to you, and it will blind you for 4 turns. That is annoying. It just seems that whenever Absalom is around, he's just gonna blind you, and I just hate it. I hate being blinded. It's so annoying. So unfortunately, you do have to deal with that if you do encounter this variation of the final room. And Nami is a bit different this time. She doesn't actually, change too much with her attack power. The only variation that she does with her attack power is if she falls under 50% health. And if she falls under 50% health, instead of dealing 3,600 damage, she'll deal 6,000 damage to you. So that is just something that you have to take care of. However, you can bring turn delays for this room in this variation, which is really, really nice. So you don't have to take too much damage from Absalom and Nami themselves. Now, moving on to the final variation of this final room of this Fortnite dungeon, we have Nami and Lola together. Now, Nami has approximately 520,000 and an attack power as the same as the other rooms. And we have Lola here. Now, there are unknown health and attack values. I tried researching and could not find anything. So I would approximate it would be the same as stage 6 with, I don't remember what her health was, but I know her attack power was like 5,300 or 5,600. So I would approximate that it would be the same as the stage 6 room, and there is a preemptive attack that will apply a debuff protector for 6 turns, so you cannot delay this variation of the final room. So that is something you do have to take note of. And with Lola herself, she does have an ability where if her HP falls below 20%, she'll deal 8,000 damage to you. So you do have to be very careful about that. Now, there wasn't any specification on whether Nami actually changes her attack power in this variation, but I would assume that she does. So that is something that you do have to take note of, that if you do find this room, Nami might be dealing more damage than normal if you do lower her health. So that is something that you do have to take care of. And the last room we are going to have a look at is the hidden stage of this Fortnite, of course. And we have the Risky Brothers, as we mentioned at the start of the video. Current unknown health value, I tried researching again, I could not find a health value for them, but an attack power of 2,824, and they will attack you every single turn as well. There is a preemptive attack that will despair your captains for 2 turns, and then randomly seal 1 unit on your team for 2 turns. So very, very annoying sort of hidden boss. You're going to get despaired, so having sockets is really, really good. But if you guys can't afford those sockets, if you can't get those sockets, then make sure not to bring a guy on your team or a captain on your team that has a HP boost. Otherwise, you're going to lose that HP boost when you're going to get despaired. So that is something that you do have to take note of. And when this Risky Brothers unit falls below 20% health, he will halve your crew's HP. Once again, you do have to be very, very careful about the under 20% condition, because those are usually the things that will end your run. So you do have to be careful. If he does fall below 20%, he will be halving your HP. Alright, moving on from the actual Fortnite itself, let's have a look at the skill books that you can find in this Fortnite. So we have number 1 being the Revolutionary Int Ivankov. Finally, the skill books have arrived. This Ivankov is insane. So many different abilities, like heals poison, reduces damage, I think, for a couple of turns, or something like that, and it recovers HP, at the end of every turn for the next 2 turns or something. It's ridiculous. An amazing special, and very, very useful in 0 stamina training aisles, so highly recommend. If you guys have Int Ivankov, make sure you've socketed that thing with the Raid Boss Ivankov, and also try and max the special within this Fortnite, because it is very, very strong. Moving on from that, we have Midori, who is kind of okay. He has an okay sort of special. It like changes orbs around like 3 times or something like that. It's pretty decent. And then you got the CP9 Kaku. Now, this Kaku is pretty interesting. He does like random damage to an enemy. It's like, I don't remember if it's random. I think it is random. It's like random dex damage to an enemy, but with his captain effect, it doubles any damage, any dex damage from a special. So if you have double Kaku and you use their specials, it does immense amounts of damage, close to 1 million or something. So Dex Kaku is a very good unit, highly recommend to max that guy out. You've got the regular story Nami, the base Nami, you've got the evolution of that story Nami being Mirage Tempo and Thunderbolt Tempo Nami as skill books. The Risky Brothers skill books are here as well, and also Kaya's skill books are available. So overall, I think these skill books are pretty decent, especially the first three that I mentioned, being CP9, Kaku, and Midori, as well as the revolutionary Ivankov. So now let's go ahead and break down which teams you can bring in order to beat this Fortnite dungeon. Number one being a free-to-play Cerebral team. So you have the double lead being Momonga, which is the main boss of the raid boss Buster Call, and this guy is absolutely amazing. So this guy is a 2.5 times leader for Cerebral team, so very good, and his special is insane, giving a 1.75 times orb boost. Not orb boost, but a type boost to Cerebrals for a turn as well, which is phenomenal. You've got the Int Croc, the Slasher Croc, just for the fact that he is just an amazing unit with stats, and he has a special which gives himself an Int Orb, which is pretty decent. You've got Mr. 3 for a turn delay. Domino can really be replaced with any unit really that's a Cerebral unit. And you've also got Nolan because he has a 1.5 times orb boost. So if you use that in tandem with Momonga, you're going to be dealing immense amounts of damage, which is really nice. And you notice that there are no strength, quick, or dex units. It's because you do have to take into consideration the fact that that Nami will lock those units, you know, so you have to be very careful about that. So bringing a Cyan Int team is very good, highly recommend it. And also, you know, there are different teams you could use, you know, there's like Rayleigh teams, I'm pretty sure he's Cerebral, and you've also got, you know, like Sengoku as well. Sengoku being a Cerebral is amazing to bring in this Fortnite once again. But now let's move on to the second team, which is a free-to-play slasher team. So this team consists of bringing a Mihawk, a Raid Mihawk, and also a friend, you know, 6-star Mihawk. However, that is really up to you. You know, this is just a free-to-play version. If you guys have better units from Rare Recruit, you can just bring those as well. But, you know, this is just a free-to-play team that I'm just recommending to you guys. So you got the free-to-play version of the slashers with the Raid Mihawk. You've also got the same units from above, Nolan, Mr. 3, and Crocodile, just because they're so good. You can bring Helmeppo, the Sergeant Helmeppo, because he does unlock units as well. So if you guys have him, you can unlock your Mihawk that gets locked by Nami if that does happen. However, you know, if you just have 6-star Mihawk, you know, that's fine as well. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just stall out the turns anyway, because if you have the Coffin Boat, you can just stall out those turns, which is really nice. You've also got Mr. 1, the Convict Mr. 1, because he will boost all slashes, and he's also an int unit, so he does a lot of damage to Nami as well. So overall, this team works out really well. You know, you've also got Nolan there if you got an Orb boost as well, and you know, it just really depends on what you want to bring. There are so many different slashes you could bring. And this is just a free-to-play team, you know. If you have better units from Rare Recruit, as I said, you can just put that in the team as well. But as I said, it is better to bring Psi and Int units just to make sure that the Dex, Strength, and Quick units do not get locked by Nami. So that is going to conclude yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to smack the like button down below, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, then make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.